Recently, we see the contract that was signed, the agreement that was signed in Washington between Rwanda and Congo, which was supposedly, let's call it a contract of peace, but we don't yet know how much the United States want to leverage that to their own interest, while pretending that it is the interest of these two parties.
I think we need to go beyond the resources of Congo, because we all know that Congo is very rich, and then it's potentially the richest country in the world when in terms of resources.
Conflict is a business. And who else is going to be making money from the business if not the United States itself? My name is Obehi Ewanfoh, the host of the Obehi podcast. So today we're again talking about something that is particularly important for us. Today we're going to be touching on some key areas. So I was just telling my guest just now that perhaps we might need to come back again to this conversation because there is a lot that is on the table, from geopolitics to business to airline and compensation and compliance with what is happening with the EU new law, with the Ministry and ministers of EU ministers and Ministry of Aviation, the new law that they have put in place and how this is affecting African passengers, African travelers, and what Africans might need to do to sort of safeguard also their citizens and a lot of that. Because there is a lot that is on the plate today. So Amen, that is your name. That is a very beautiful name.
Yes.
Could you please tell the people who you are? Let's get started from here.
Yes, my name is Amen Amouna. I am the founder of getitback.com. I'm a claims manager, a businessman as well, an entrepreneur. I'm from the Republic of Congo as well. And then I love Congo, I love Africa as well. And then I'm a Londoner as well. I've been in London for 19 years. So a proud Londoner as well in this respect as well. So yes, this is what I do. And then I also love politics, geopolitics as well. And then because if you're a businessman, you need to be watching politics as well. It's very important when you do business. So yeah, this is me.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Amen. So today we agree that we're going to be touching on geopolitics because of course there is a lot that is going on within the geopolitics of the world. So tell me what is your take on that? Because a lot of things have happened actually. Recently, we see the contract that was signed, the agreement that was signed in Washington between Rwanda and Congo, which was supposedly, let's call it a contract of peace, but we don't yet know how much the United States want to leverage that to their own interest, while pretending that it is the interest of these two parties. So anyway, so what is your take on geopolitics, international geopolitics in Africa?
Yes, so times are very complicated times. We live in times where every day when you wake up, there's a new thing. So those times where you cannot even predict. Back in the days, you could predict what's going to happen maybe within the next maybe 6 months, 12 months, but now you can't really predict that. So I will start by asking you if you can see that China, Russia, and the United States, they are actually creating this new world order where, those three powerful nations are actually out there pulling the string and then everywhere. So it's very complicated to pay attention and watch out. And then as well, we're going to talk about the travel ban for some African nations like Congo. Like myself, I cannot go to America because my country has been banned. I hold a Congolese passport, so I cannot go there. And, a country like Chad, they decided to use reciprocity. So they have kind of imposed the same ban to American citizens. And the Republic of Congo, my country, our diplomats have decided to go in a more diplomatic ways and then dialogue. Yes, I trust our diplomat, by the way. And we have also seen what's happening at DRC, our neighboring country, and then DRC is a country that are pretty much loved. And the way America, Washington has been handling the conflict resolution, and with the new, I think, you've mentioned that you've read that, the treaty that they have had to kind of, the politicians are saying it's a peace treaty. Quoting Donald Trump word, he said that people used to kill themselves with machetes, so he came here as a kind of, peace breaker. And I've read the agreement. And I think for me, it's more like a commercial treaty, not really a peace treaty. But I might be wrong because today I'm only giving my opinion. So I don't know. Maybe our diplomats and then our PhDs and diplomats can maybe clarify us when it comes to that. And then I just wanted to I wanted to make a point as well. It's a bit sad, you know. I'm very sad to see that in 2025, two African nations cannot come at the same table and then have a resolution within Africa. We always need an external paternal figure to come and try and give us a peace. You know, it's a bit sad. And to be honest, those are the kind of things that as nations we need to work on, and then we need to kind of grow up because, well, it's 2025 and two African nations who are neighbors can come down together and then really put their differences aside and then find a resolution that can all benefit Africa and then both countries as well, even the world as well, because Africa is a big part of this ecosystem in the world. So when Africa is good, I'm sure that the world will be good as well. But maybe some people don't believe.
All right, there is a lot of things that you said there, Amen. Now let's look at the Congolese situation first of all, because that become at the centerpiece of it. Of course, Congo has always been the centerpiece of the entire conversation. I made a post a couple of days ago where the guy who was it on the 19th of January 1961 actually butchered Patrice Lumumba. They cut it into, I think, about 32 pieces after they killed him and before they poured acid on him. This is a horrible thing that have been happening in Congo. Now we have the genocide, the homicide. It just go on and on and on and on. And this is supposed to be one of the most important countries in the whole of Africa. Now, first, okay, during this conflict that is going on, that have been going on and is still going on, I want to believe that there have been some effort within Africa to resolve the issue. You see, I have interviewed some military experts here who have told me that even when they were young in the military, they have been fighting in Congo. For example, the president of Nigeria, the head of state of Nigeria then, I think Gowon, I don't know if I think he have fought in Congo, but many of them have fought in Congo. The conflict is still on. So, from the point of view of the human being, what is really going on in this conflict that it is impossible to be resolved?
You know, last time, a few months ago, I attended a conference. It was on decolonization, and then President Obasanjo was there as well. He was addressing us, and he mentioned he just came from Congo as well to try and then mediate as well for peace. So I was surprised to see that even in that time, in the 60s, I think, he was in Congo. You know, it's been kind of trying to. It's been within this situation, this Congolese situation since then. So I was shocked to see. So as you mentioned, this issue has been going on for a long time. And then before even the independence, we had the King Leopold tragedy, who murdered and genocided a lot of Congolese. So it's just going on and on. And first of all, I would like to kind of put as an African, as a Congolese as well, to ask myself question. Sometimes we do blame external forces, which I know they are there, but when it comes to ourselves, what do we do? Our diplomats, our leaders, and then even the civic society, what do we do to address that? Even as Africans, because I have sometimes, even when I go into meetings, and then you might see some West Africans saying, oh, in Congo, all they do is killing themselves. Oh, Congo is like, they are really, they don't, like it doesn't concern them. And then even within Congo as well, you have some people from different kind of, maybe a different state. They are very indifferent to what's happening in that state. So, and then those are the kind of things that we've seen in Africa, not only in Congo, but different places of Africa, where when your neighbor's house is burning, you just ignore that because you don't care about that. While you don't know that fire can as well come to you. So as human beings as well now, we are all humans. Is it really normal to kind of let human beings die in millions like that? Women, children, and things. So those are the kind of things we need to ask, ourselves. And, it's a bit sad, but I think it's something that needs to stop. And I think a commercial decision cannot resolve that, because this is it's a human problem. So I think we need to go beyond the resources of Congo, because we all know that Congo is very rich, and then it's potentially the richest country in the world in terms of resources. And we all know as well that everybody wants a piece of Congo as well. So that we know. And we can all use those resources, like, from an African point of view, if Africa really focus on Congo to bring about the peace that we need, the whole Africa can benefit from that peace in Congo, because Congo is like the center of Africa and the world as well. It's a very important country, and then Africans need to really pay attention to Congo, and like the Sahel as well. So those are very strategic places. And then even apart from the resources, the human beings, it's not normal to have a place where there's a lot of issues like drama, and it's been going on for years. And then different presidents have come. We have got the mediator, the United Nations. Everybody's been there from the 60s. So we need to ask ourselves the right question: what's going on? And then maybe change the way we've been trying to address those issues as well, because maybe the way we've addressing those issues is not the way we should. So we need to go and then look for different kind of resolution.
All right. Yeah. Now, I'd like you to respond to another thing, because you were making mention of what Washington did, because now Washington appeared to be making peace. But anyway, I don't really know if President Trump really is a peaceful guy, because now he told the Palestine and the Palestinians and the Israeli that I'm going to make peace, but instead he's going there to drop bomb. I don't know if that is actually peaceful. That is a way to make peace. So, by the way, let's look at Congo. As Congolese, how do you react to the treaty that was signed between Rwanda and, okay, now this is a three-part treaty. That is the United States, which is mediating. There is Congo, and there is Rwanda. So I want to believe that you have taken a look at it, because in the Classes Media, we wrote an article, a very lengthy article about it. Then we also published the entire treaty so that people can see it for themselves. So what is your take on that as a Congolese?
Well, as an African first, and then as a Congolese, even though I'm from the Republic of Congo, and then as an African and a Congolese as well, I think I don't see it as a peace treaty. I see it, well, this is my own opinion, and then the way I understand that, I really see that as a commercial treaty. And then I really think that the millions of Congolese and Africans who have died, their lives have just been flushed in the toilet like that for maybe commercial reason. And then I think that if you've seen the treaty where they are asking the Congolese resources to be processed in Rwanda and things like that, and then there's a part as well where the percentage of the mineral. So for me, I don't really understand the treaty, to be honest. And then I'm really asking for whoever is an expert into that to come back to me and then explain, to really show me which part of the treaty will kind of bring peace and stability in the region. So this is really what I think about that. Maybe time will tell. Let's see what America will do. I know as well that I think, yesterday, or a few days ago, I think yesterday, 5 African presidents was invited in the White House. The Gabon president, I think the Guinea-Bissau president as well, and then Liberian president as well was there. And then even Donald Trump was very impressed by the way he speaks English. I don't know if you've seen that.
I saw it because he was asking the guy, how come you speak English so much? So as a president of the United States, he didn't realize that in Liberia, English is the official language. So now he's surprised. So I don't even understand that.
Because Liberia was created by a freed slave from America. So it's actually American. That's why when you look at the Liberian flag, it's very similar to the United States of America's flag. So, but anyway, this is something. And then the president of Senegal as well was there. So And we've seen as well a few weeks ago how Donald Trump claimed that there was a white genocide in South Africa. And then he did show actually on the pictures that was the genocide that was happening in the DRC. So I'm very confused, and I don't know if it's done on purpose or it's just out of ignorance or it's just maybe trolling. So it's not really my place to kind of comment. And as I know, I trust our diplomats and then politicians as well. So yeah, and I know as well that I think the Congolese president and the Rwandan president will go to the United States as well to kind of maybe talk about, their agreement as well. So what we can do is just to respect what both the three countries have decided, and then let us hope that it really brings about the peace that we want, because we really want peace. And then speaking to Congolese and then Africans, people are really divided. And then I can tell you that people are really divided, especially the young people now. One thing that we need to forget, we shouldn't ignore, is the young people in Africa. They are paying attention to leaders, to the way the leaders are handling business that concern them as well. That's why you see the way Ibrahim, the president of Burkina Faso, was, when the American general made that comment about him, where worldwide people, especially in the diaspora, people went out and protest. And then the young people as well, the kind of admiration they have for him as well. So yeah, the advice I can give to our politicians and our diplomats is to pay attention to young people in Africa, because I think they are crying out for something else, even to the world as well. So
All
yeah,
right.
so yeah, this is
All right. Now let's look at the treaty again, not from the point of view of the United States this time, but then look to see if there have been alternative to that kind of treaty, because this is a conflict that is taking place in Africa and it's being resolved in the
in
United
Africa.
States. Okay, the United States of all people. The United States is like the heart of the
Yes,
monkey in the soup. It can never be innocent in terms of the conflict that is going on in Africa, because
yeah,
conflict is a business. And who else is going to be making money from the business if not the United States itself? So anyway, that is by the way.
well,
So
I don't know about it, but what I can say, um, you know, there's a few days ago, Lumumba celebrated 100 years, and then worldwide in the diaspora, South Africa, everywhere, they celebrated the 100th years of Lumumba. And then I was reading an article that Lumumba actually was assassinated he was a job as well by the CIA as well. And then this was from a CIA document that I was reading as well. So it's always good to go back to history, and then to it's always go back into the history, the factual history, and then actually understand to understand where we are going. And the treaty, for me, as an African, it's a shameful thing. I'm very ashamed of that it's 2025 and we cannot find a resolution within Africa with the excellent diplomats that we have on the continent. I know Rwanda, Congo, Nigeria, we have some fantastic diplomats, and then conflict resolution officers who are very, very good. And I'm very disappointed that we cannot have a resolution within Africa. I know that there's a treaty from Nairobi, and then Tanzania as well tried to do it, and then in Angola as well stepped in. I think we need to kind of look for alternative resolution center like within Africa that goes with our own values. And then, because it's an African problem, who else is going to understand our issue better than ourselves? I cannot come here today in the UK where I live and then tell someone maybe from Yorkshire how we can resolve an issue that he has within his family. No, it's not my role to do that.
But had there been effort on the part of other African countries to resolve this conflict? Because like we said, this conflict had been there before I was born, literally speaking, before you were born. is still there today. Had there been any serious effort, whether on the part of the African Union or the part of the neighboring country, to resolve this conflict? Because I've interviewed some people here in this podcast, and I've heard some things about some of the intention that have been made and how it have been violated, whether by the Congo state or maybe because of the rebel or things like that. I'm trying to understand that have really been a consistent effort to resolve the conflict, and it has.
Yes, there's been a lot of effort to resolve that issue. Even the recent ones was the one in Rwanda. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Yeah, go on.
Yes. So yeah, the recent one was the one in Rwanda. Sorry. Angola tried to step in, even like in Tanzania, and then Nairobi as well. There's the Treaty of Nairobi, South Africa. So there's so many things that have been done to try and resolve that issue. But it's like you said, it's like there's some kind of forces. I don't know whether they are internal or external, or even if it's within the Congolese civil society, that do not want to have or maybe the African Union or the EU, I don't know. But there's kind of some kind of forces that are working very hard not to have a peace resolution to that kind of conflict, this specific conflict. But I can guarantee you, when you read the history, there's always been effort, even from the United Nations and from the African Union to resolve that. Even last time when I was with President Obasanjo, he mentioned that. So he's been going there for a very long time, and then he's like now he's going there again to try to talk to each party. So it's a very complicated thing, and sometimes it's complicated, and then it's a shame. It's very shameful, especially taking into account the amount of people who are dying and who have died, the amount of suffering. Do you know how many generations of people who are being traumatized by this war? And then do we really have a plan for them to kind of, because war destroyed, it affects your gene. You cannot build decent human beings with trauma, with war traumas. It's very difficult. You need to implement some kind of structure to kind of look after those people, and then so that they can forget, and then for the future generation as well. So I think let's look at the human side of it. It's not normal. It's not normal. We need to stand up and do things, whether it's the political societies, whether it's the civil societies, whether it's the African Union, whether it's the Washington, whether it's Chinese, whether it's, we need peace in that region.
All right. When you talk about the civil society, I want you to tell us more a little bit about that. In this civil society that are in Congo, whether they are within Congo or outside of Congo, because sometimes when situations like this are happening, there are people that might be outside, whether they are in Canada or in US or in Europe, that are trying to maybe influence what is happening. What are they really influencing? Like, what is the opinion? What do they really want? What kind of a tension is in place that maybe they are trying to achieve it, but they haven't achieved it? What is the agenda?
Well, I can't really comment on that, but from the people that I know personally, peace is the most important thing, and then they have tried as well to do certain things, but without political involvement, it's very difficult to bring the changes that we need. So, because the decision makers need to be there and then agree as well. All we can do is to give opinion and then maybe cry out as well. But the leaders, they have to really sit down and then put their differences aside and work all of them towards this goal of achieving peace. And this is like, that's my own a view on that. But you have a political, and talking about the civil society in the diaspora, a lot of people are really doing great things to bring awareness, writing books, maybe having charities around, they are doing things like that. But it's not enough without the involvement of politicians, because politics is power. And then, because they are the decision makers, so they need to kind of be involved as well. So the politician and the civil societies, and then maybe, like everyone need to get involved, to be involved, to bring with a shared vision, a shared goal. And then that shared vision and shared goal is peace, and then bring about the changes that we need. This is my own opinion when it
Thank
comes
you so much for that, Amen. Now, we did say that we're also going to touch a little bit about the airline situation and the change, or actually the plan that the European airline ministers have made about compensation, delay, and how this might maybe impact Africans that are traveling. Since you are an expert in the airline, you are working it for a number of years. Could you brief us on that?
Yes, so there's been changes. So EU aviation minister met, and then they have agreed to change the EU passengers' rights. So as an African, what you need to take is that right now with the current rules, if you are delayed for 3 hours or more, you might be due a compensation of up to 600 euros. So if it's 3 hours for long haul, I'm talking about long haul, for 3 hours, you can get 300 euros. And then for 4 hours or more, you can get 600 euros if the airline is at fault. So if it's something within their control, so something that they can actually control, like some technical issues, or maybe denied boarding. And so now what they have done is they have changed that. The time to be compensated, they have agreed to extend that to 6 hours. So for you right now, well, because the ministers have agreed, you still have to go via the EU Parliament, I think. So now you will have to be delayed for 6 hours to get a compensation. And the compensation as well has been reduced from 600 euros to 500 euros. And then I think it's going to be fair on African travelers, especially that African travelers have one of the most expensive economy tickets in the whole world. So for me to go to Congo now, if I can just go online now and look for a ticket to go to Pointe-Noire, my hometown, I need to fork out more than £1,000. And then if I want to go maybe to a different place, maybe America, you can get ticket for 300 euros for the same distance, sometimes for lesser. So you can really see there that African passengers will lose out when it comes to that. And then the airlines have been lobbying that. You know, the airline did lobby that. And then airline wanted to have it extended to 9 hours. But the EU ministers have agreed to put that at 6 hours. And then we as well, you know, coming from an airline industry, especially in the claims management, most of the delays are between 2 and 4 hours. And then they haven't mentioned the delay, the misconnection. So sometimes you might take your flight from Milan and then you have a connection in Paris. Your Milan flight is delayed and then you miss your connection. So I haven't seen where they have taken those kind of a delay into account as well. So it's not really clear as well, because you might have a delay on your connecting flight for 45 minutes, but this delay actually causes you to maybe reach your final destination in 48 hours. You might be stranded maybe in Charles de Gaulle to wait for routing or reconnection again. So those are the things that actually have changed, that African travelers need to really pay attention to that, because you know some rights have been taken off of them. It's very
all right. Now let's look at it this way, and so that you can clarify the differences for me. If I am in London, I'm taking a flight from London to Paris, or from London to Frankfurt, or to Berlin, then or to Milan. There is a delay by the flight that is taking me from London to this destination. I'm going to be qualified to get a compensation. So maybe, for example, the flight delay for like 3 or 4 or 5 hours. But if I am in London, I am moving to Lagos or moving to Addis Ababa, I am not qualified to get the compensation. Or let me even add another one to it. I am in Lagos. I am moving to Paris. I am moving to either London or to say Berlin. But this is say airline. It can be Air France or any of this airline, any of this European airline. Because I am moving from Africa, I am not qualified for it. But if I'm moving from London or the other way around, or maybe I'm moving within the European Union, I'm qualified. Can you please explain that part clearer for us?
Okay. Let's start, because there's different scenarios. So you are leaving from Lagos to London, and then this is a European Airlines. So if your flight is delayed with the current rules, if your flight is delayed by 3 hours, and if it's an European airline going to an European city like like Paris, if your flight is delayed for 3 hours or more with the current rule, you can qualify for a compensation of up to 600 euros if the airline is at fault. So if it's something within the airline control, one of the most common things is technical issue, or maybe technical issue is one of the most common thing. So now, what they have done now, they have extended the time with what the European aviation ministers have done now, they have agreed to do now, is to extend the time in which you qualify for a compensation. So now you are flying from Lagos to Paris, and your flight is delayed for 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours. You will not, and then it is within the airline's fault. It's like control, something that they are at fault. You will only qualify if the flight is, if the delay at your final destination is 6 hours. So it's taking you all your right away. It's taking all your right away. So it's only when your flight qualifies for 6 hours that you can claim for a compensation. Now, this is the first scenario. Now let's go to Europe now. You're taking a European flight or EasyJet flight from London to Milan. Before, your flight used to be compensated, you needed to be delayed for 3 hours before you can claim a compensation. Still the same rule if it's within the airline control. Because when it's beyond the airline control, what it means that it's something that is not within their control, like maybe a terrorist attack. If there's a terrorist attack, it's not within their control. Like last time in Heathrow Airport, we had the fire. Heathrow Airport was closed. They decided to close it for safety reasons. So this, your airline is not liable to pay you a compensation. The only thing you can claim is care and assistance, like hotel, food, where applicable. So the reasonable care and assistance. But now, for your flight, for your short-haul flights or European flight, when you move within Europe, maybe from Paris to Milan, before it used to be 3 hours, but now they have extended that to 4 hours. You can see that, this is my own opinion, they have been very good with European people who fly within Europe, because they have extended that for only 1 hour. This is what I can see there. So people who fly around Europe, yeah, they will not be that much affected. Some will be affected, but like for the majority, because, you know, as I said earlier, that most of the delays are between 2 and 4 hours. So yes, they can kind of, you know, it's not going to be, the damage is not going to be as damaging as the one who fly to Africa, the long haul flight. You have to take into consideration as well that today I can fly to France with 12 euros, with low, you know, with Ryanair. So, you know, the damage there is not really there. So I can buy a ticket today for 12 euros to go to Paris, and then my flight is delayed for 4 hours. And if it's the airline fault, then I can qualify for a compensation of 250 euros if the airline is at fault. So you can see there. So sometimes I've got clients that I help out get a compensation. They bought their ticket for 2 euros or 4 euros or whatever, but I still get them a compensation, which is even more than what they
Can you buy a ticket for 2 euros? How do you do that?
Ryanair used to do that. My sister, when she used to go to France, sometimes she you know, you have ticket like a 4 euros 99 and things. Yeah, sometimes you used to get that for Ryanair in certain cities. You know, in certain cities in France. Yeah, or 20 euros. You know, people used to get tickets like that. Yeah. So this is one of the things. So yeah, that's one of the things. And then the other thing as well, I wanted to maybe find a solution out we can bring back the balance, especially for African travelers, is our aviation minister in Africa could get together and then maybe do some kind of reciprocity as well, to put laws that's going to protect passengers who come to Africa, who leave Africa as well. So this is one of the solutions that we can do, because if European ministers, aviation minister can kind of protect their own passengers, why not us? So those are the kind of, this is my opinion, like maybe the kind of advice that I can kind of give to our aviation ministers on the continent as well, is to kind of maybe see where they can implement some certain laws to protect their passengers, well, knowing as well that, I repeat, we have one of the most expensive economy ticket, not even business class, economy ticket in the world. Yes.
But why is that? Why
So
is that
this is
the case?
something
Is
to
it
bear in mind.
because okay, that is this argument that is very common among those people that talk about the interconnectedness within African travel, that it costs more to travel within Africa than it is to travel from Africa to other part of the world. So what is usually the reason for the existence of airline? Is it because there is no connection, no connecting flight? You know, there is this famous saying by Walter Rodney in 1972. Walter Rodney was saying that if you want to travel from Abidjan to Accra, you will need to move from Abidjan to Paris, then from Paris to London, then from London to Accra, which was really it's hilarious.
No, but it's still relevant. It's still relevant today. It's still, this is still relevant today. He was not joking. He was just telling, spreading some facts there. So, but you have two issues, because the interconnection on the African continent, that's a different issue. Because I think as well, it comes into a political will as well to kind of connect Africa. This has to be done by our politicians as well and ministers, and then as well maybe our businessmen as well, people who have the cash flow to invest in that. But as you can see, an airline is a necessity. So sometimes when you make when you create an airline, it's you must spend maybe 20 years sometimes without even breaking even or making a profit, but actually it pays out, because what airline does is it brings value to the continent. So you have a trade, facilitate trade, it facilitate import and export, and then fast, and then but now the way Africa is now, we cannot trade with each other. We cannot even, what's happening in Ivory Coast, someone in Congo will not know. Because when you try and book a ticket as well to go to Ivory Coast, like you mentioned earlier, you need to go back to Europe. And then you have to pay airport taxes, maybe in Charles de Gaulle, but all those monies that are going away can stay on the continent if we kind of sit down and then connect. So it can start by Central Africa first, and then after West Africa, and then we can create a kind of like interconnecting system, like network, and then it's gonna bring a lot of a lot of benefit to the continent. But now you've got the other issues where tickets to go to certain destinations in Africa are just expensive. Like sub-Saharan Africa, especially in Central Africa, they are just expensive. And then most of those airlines are not African airlines; they are European airlines.
All right.
Like Air France.
So sorry because of anyway, we're going to come back to the conversation again on another occasion, because I'm going to be having another interview just now. So can you tell the people how to find you very briefly, under 2 minutes?
Well, you can find me online, if you just it's Amen Amouna, or I've got my website as well. So www.getiback.com. And then, yes, that's how you can find me. You can just write to me. I'm on LinkedIn as well. If you really need to reach out, then, or via you as well. So if people get to you, and then they can easily get to me, because we are always in contact.
All right. Thank you so much, Amen. I appreciate this conversation again. That is a very beautiful name. And of course, all of you that have listened to the end of this conversation,
thank you.
I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, and make sure you share with other people also that might find value in what we are sharing here. I've done more than 1,000 interviews, bringing in different people to talk to you, to share information that can be helpful to you. So if you find it useful, make sure you subscribe and leave your comment in the comment section, so that we can understand what you are feeling, what is your take on the conversation. conversation. So we look forward to coming to you again and bringing another value to you. So enjoy the beautiful time. So thank you so much, Amen.
Thank you very much.